Attitude is altitude. Imagine having no arms to stretch in the morning to help you scratch that itch to allow you to wrap your arms around your loved ones. Imagine having no legs to kick pebbles down the state, to walk, or run, to bicycle, or skateboard, and get you from point A to point B. Then, imagine both at once, which is what Nick Vujicic has faced his whole life. Have you heard something like this before? Nick Vujicic was born with no arms or legs, but he doesn't let the details stop him. The brave 26-year-old, who is mainly torso, plays football and golf, swims and surfs. Despite having no limbs, Nick has a small foot on his left hip which helps him balance and enables him to kick. He uses his one foot to type, write with a pen, and pick things up between his toes. I call it my chicken drumstick, joked Nick, who was born in Melbourne, Australia, but now lives in Los Angeles. I'd be lost without it. Water sports aren't Nick's only thing. He also plays golf with a club tucked under his chin and is a huge fan of the English Premier League. His parents decided not to send him to a special school, a decision he said was very hard for him, but which may have been the best decision they could have made for him. When Nick was born, his father was so shocked that he left the hospital room to vomit. His distraught mother couldn't bring herself to hold him until he was 4 months old. His disability came without any medical explanation, a rare occurrence called phocomelia, and Nick and his parents spent many years asking why this cruel trick would happen to them. My mother was a nurse and she did everything right during pregnancy, but she still blamed herself, he said. It was so hard for them, but right from the start they did their best to make me independent. My dad put me in the water at 18 months and gave the courage to learn how to swim. I also got really into football and skateboarding. I totally love the English Premier League. Nick's father was a computer programmer and accountant, and he taught his little son how to type with his toe at just 6 years old. His mum invented a special plastic device that meant he could hold a pen and pencil. Despite the risk of bullying, his parents insisted Nick attended mainstream school. It was the best decision they could have made for me, adds Nick, who later achieved a degree in financial planning and real estate. It was very hard, but it gave me independence. Nick, who was teased and bullied, had an electric wheelchair for mobility and a team of carers to help him. I was deeply depressed when I was 8 years old, he said. I went to my mum crying and told her I wanted to kill myself. I felt cold and bitter. I hated God for doing this to me and was terrified of what would happen when my parents weren't there to look after me. I could brush my own teeth with a wall-mounted brush and wash my own hair with pump-action soap, but there was so much that was impossible for me. At age 10, Nick tried to drown himself in the bath, but luckily the attempt was unsuccessful. I felt there was no purpose. When you lack purpose and strength, it is hard to hold on, he said. But with the help of his religion, friends and family, Nick managed to pull through to become an international symbol of triumph over adversity. When I was 13, I read a newspaper article about a disabled man who had managed to achieve great things and help others, said Nick. I realized why God had made us like this, to give hope to others. It was so inspirational to me that I decided to use my life to encourage other people and give them the courage that the article had given me. I decided to be thankful for what I do have, not get angry about what I don't. I looked at myself in the mirror and said, you know what, the world is right that I have no arms or legs, but they'll never take away the beauty of my eyes. I wanted to concentrate on something good that I had. The challenges in our lives are there to strengthen our convictions. They are not there to run us over, said Nick. In 1990, Nick won the Australian Young Citizen of the Year award for his bravery and perseverance. And once I was in a car and a girl at traffic lights was giving me the eye. She could only see my head, so I decided to do a 360 in the car seat to freak her out. Her face was like, woo-oo, what is going on? She sped off really quickly. Nick began traveling the world, and in 2008 he went to Hawaii and met surfing master Bethany Hamilton, who had her arm bitten off by a shark when he was 12. She was amazing, said Nick. She taught me how to surf and I was terrified at first, but once I got up there it felt absolutely fantastic and I caught some waves pretty well. Nick quickly learned how to do the 360-degree spins on his board, a feat that got him on the cover of Surfer magazine within 48 hours. No one has ever done that in the history of surfing, he said. But I have a very low center of gravity, so I've got pretty good balance. He has visited different countries all over the world. The football fan is now a motivational speaker and has traveled to over 24 countries speaking to groups of up to 110,000 people. He moved to Los Angeles 2 years ago and plans to continue to travel the world this year. He will visit South America and the Middle East. If I fail, I try again and again and again. If you fail, are you going to try again? The human spirit can handle much worse than we realize. It matters how you are going to finish. Are you going to finish strong? Said Nick. I tell people to keep on getting up when they fall and to always love themselves, he said. If I could encourage just one person, then my job in this life is done.